Today I had a very good day interviewing a lot of Cisco engineers, but I also met the head of Cisco Learning. Yusuf is the head of the development of the CCNA, CCNP, and CCIE certifications. So he's in charge of all that development. He decides, as an example with his team, which topics go into a CCNA certification, which topics go into CCNP certification, and which topics go into the CCIE certification. So obviously someone who's very important for all of us. I was really impressed to see how humble he was and how he was willing to share information with me. The good news is that he will continue with interviews with me, so he'll continue giving us information. So that's really fantastic. I'm really glad that I came to Cisco Live. That's one of many reasons that I think it's been good to be here, to be able to meet him personally and set up contact with him so that I can continue finding out more information and bringing it to you. Okay, so that's enough said. I'll cut to the interview now. Hey everyone, it's David Bombal coming to you from Cisco Live in Barcelona. Very happy to introduce you to Yusuf Bhaiji, if I've pronounced that right. Absolutely. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you. Hi David, so thank you all for listening and tuning in. As David said, my name is Yusuf Bhaiji. I am the certifications program manager. I manage the entire certification portfolio. So from CCNA, CCNP, CCIE, all the design tracks, the DA, DP, CCD, the architect track. So I have the full portfolio management. And I am technical, so I have a 20 plus experience, 20 years plus, in the industry. Most people know me, you guys follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn. My personal area of specialization is security, but I have been also in the enterprise architecture and a little bit on service provider as well. So my current role is management, to manage the certification program, but it's a technical management because we are designing curriculums and exams and certification for all Cisco technologies.
Yes, right. I just want to emphasize that. I mean, do you want to raise that? Because to the camera, you've got 2 CCIEs. So in other words, you are in management, but you're extremely technical. And we were talking earlier, that's a really important thing.
Yeah. Absolutely, and in my role it is kind of a requirement, because if I'm managing a technical certification program, I kind of need to understand technology, not only the technology today, but where the technology is going, what is tomorrow, because our programs need to reflect that for our customers. Because if you're going to take an exam, a CCNA or CCIE, we kind of prepare you as a certified individual, we kind of prepare you for today, and we strive to prepare you for tomorrow. Exactly. So I try to, even in my current role, I'm still learning. Like, why am I in Cisco Live? I'm still taking sessions. I took like yesterday a cloud class, an ACI class, just learning, just to understand what's happening, where is Cisco going with all this technology, so I can reflect that in the certification program to make sure that there is coverage of all those technologies.
Great. Sorry. I think it's, from my point of view, it's really great to meet you because, it's wonderful, firstly, to know that you're really technical and that there's someone like you in charge of all the certifications. And it's also great what you said now, that you learning yourself and seeing where things are going. So can you share anything about what you feel about the certification program, where it's heading, what your thoughts are?
Yeah, absolutely. So first thing first, certification has been something that has been very critical for most people that have earned it. And I think one thing I would like to emphasize is what people confuse is certification is a journey. And when you say journey, it's not like how do you put it in simple terms, that it's not like a milestone that you just achieve one thing and just forget that you're done. It's a journey. And yes, exam is a way to assess your skills and abilities, but what you learn out of that whole experience or that whole engagement, you take it a long way with your career. So I feel that it is very important people realize that this is not about an exam or CCNA or CCA. It's about the knowledge, the technology that you learn along the journey. And it is very important. I was talking to David earlier offline that what are some of the key areas and how is the technology changing and what is the job role market changing. So we do a lot of analysis in our business to understand what are the expectation of hiring managers. How are they changing their expectations? So if you are a CCNA certified or CCIE certified, what are the expectations out of you today and what do we see as tomorrow? So one thing that clearly pops up is everybody's buzzword is software defined, automation and orchestration and all those technologies and moving from CLI to API and programmability. And I want to emphasize that's very critical and it's a tool to get the job done. So it's not like software automation will eliminate the need of certified individuals or replace them. We will be more important in this software journey, in this automation journey, because you need to still understand the technology to be able to automate that. It's the how part. Whether I use, it's a toolbox. Whether I use one tool or another tool is to get the end result. So imagine if you're configuring a network, you have 5,000 nodes, you're configuring routing protocol or OSPF or BGP. Instead of doing it CLI, I write a Python script or maybe I have a REST API or something and I'm deploying the configurations or something. If I'm troubleshooting something, maybe I have a smart way. Instead of doing all manual correlation of syslogs and everything, I have some smart script or something automated that can go into the network, fetch things out and do correlation and tell me exactly where the problem is. We had a little interruption, but just continuing the thought process. We were talking about automation and how is it relevant to this new feature job role. So I was trying to explain that the engineer job role is kind of changing. The expectations are changing from the hiring managers. And if not today, if you don't see that in your role, trust me, you will see that in future. So what we are saying is that you need to enable yourself to prepare yourself for that future expectation. So it's kind of keeping the lights on for today in your network and then looking forward to how you evolve your network for tomorrow's expectation. So whether you are a CCNA or CCNP or CCIE, there are certain new skills and areas of expertise that are in demand. Automation is one of them, all the software and programmability. And the other thing we talked about earlier was the clarification between becoming a developer, meaning the software engineer, versus becoming a network programmer, meaning you are using the toolbox of the software guy to do the network job. You're not going to write an application or for some mobile app, or you're not designing a new software platform. All you're doing is using the toolkits that they have in our business, in our backyard, which is networking. So that is a way to differentiate between the network engineers and the software engineers. So there is kind of a middle layer between the network and the software. You learn automation to do your own job. Not that our own job is going to be replaced by the introduction of software. So that's a little bit of clarification. But this is, like we were saying earlier, that the market is changing, the expectations are changing. And we try to change certification program, we evolve certification program to adapt to these changes. And yes, there are times that there are changes are slow or fast depending on the track. So we were talking about security track earlier, that when are you guys going to change security? Somebody asked me earlier, and I said, well, CCI security was we recently changed in January last year, and now we are working on the other tracks because we have a large portfolio. We have to keep changing. That's the maintenance part of the certification, and maintenance is one thing, and then evolving into the future, like I said. So not just keeping the current technologies in mind, but also what are the technologies of tomorrow, right? So those are all of the things that are coming in our program, but you really need to, today's objective was to kind of, tune in with David, introduce each other, and you will see more episodes and we will give you more details and more information of how the program is changing and evolving, so that you can kind of align your own learning path and what you want to do in your career. Because today you might be at a certain point, you may be a CCNA, you could be a CCNP, and the question is, where do I go from here? Do I split and do something else? Do I go become a software developer, or I start learning Python? The answer is kind of somewhere in the middle. There is no golden recipe, and that's another thing just came to my mind. Most people, when I'm coaching them, they ask me and I say, look, do you want me to give you a golden recipe? There is nothing. What may have worked for me does not work for you.
Agreed. 100%.
Right? So you need to identify your own strengths and weaknesses. You need to know what technologies do you like. Like I'll tell you, when I started a little bit in my career, I was I have a master's degree in software.
I wanted to mention that because you're like really technical.
Yeah,
You've got a master's degree in software and you're a CCIE.
Yeah, and I came from a software world, and then I took network as my career basically. So I'm kind of the reverse guy of what people are doing now, that the network guys are learning the software. So it's different, and trust me, these things change. It depends where you want to go in your career. You could be in our technology sense, people start like myself. I wanted to learn collaboration. I did a little bit because I started my career in tech. So I did, in tech we do rotation. So you go into the switching team, or you go to the, let's say, access team. Way back we had all the, the dial. So I tried a little bit, and then it kind of didn't appeal me. And then security was something as a passion, so I started learning security. So when you start your journey at the CCNA level, it's kind of getting your feet wet. You understand the core architecture, core technology, what is the foundation of IP. What does IP mean for you? All the OSI stack, layer 2, layer 3. Understand the building blocks of the network, the nuts and bolts. And then as you progress in your career, at the kind of professional level, what I say, from 0 to 2 years, you are kind of the CCNA guy, because you've started your career, maybe you're fresh out of college, or maybe you have 1 or 2 years experience, and then you want to do your CCNA. Then if you have 2 to 5 years experience, you've kind of worked on multiple projects in different companies, then okay, I want to park myself, and what I call is my identity. So today everybody knows, Yusuf, my identity is security. They always relate me as security guy, not as a data center or collaboration. So you need to find your identity, but not from day one. That's the wrong thing. The day one you have to start something generic. That's what happens in academia. When you go to your degree program, you may enroll in a bachelor's of engineering, but your first semester, your second semester is always like common subjects between whether you're doing mechanical or electrical or whatever. So even within the network paradigm, there is some common ground between all of us, whether you're an expert in this technology or that. So start your journey there, find your place, your identity, and then work your way up at the CCNP and the CCIE level. And then you can always change. It's not like it's like a swim lane and you just go straight and there is no deviation and you can't change yourself. Knowledge is knowledge. You will always keep that with you. And like I said earlier, technology is changing so fast that maybe what sometimes I feel like I'm outdated because the stuff I did 20 years ago is not being used in the network today. But does it mean I'm not technical anymore? If I could learn it once, I can learn it again. So it's the methodologies that you need to focus on, that how to learn the technologies.
Brilliant. Yusuf, I really just want to say thanks so much. I mean, you're the head of Cisco Learning, and yet you're so humble, and you giving us all this advice. So I really appreciate it, and I think the advice that you've given the audience is fantastic. So for those of you who have asked a lot of questions about security, this is the gentleman that I came and asked those questions to, and this is the start, hopefully, of multiple calls. So after this, we'll have some hangouts and discuss the future of certifications. Anything else you'd like to say? Please feel free.
Absolutely. So first time, like David, thank you for meeting.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, it was first time. So I said, David, let's do an introduction. There will be multiple series. We will hook up remotely, not after Cisco Live Barcelona, and we will connect. We'll give you more tips and advice on what to do, what not to do, and all of that.
I mean, just again, I can't emphasize this enough. This gentleman is the head of Cisco Learning, and yet he's willing to share all this information to all of us. And I think that speaks something to, firstly, technical people are willing to share. And secondly, it's just the culture I see in Cisco. All the years I've been in Cisco, it's amazing. People have always been willing to share stuff.
And it's a kind of a teamwork, right? I mean, it's what I call like not individual success but a group success, because technology is so passionate and we are all so close to it that we have to kind of protect it in some way.
Yeah, exactly.
So definitely stay tuned, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Just before you end off, how can they follow you on Twitter? Give us your Twitter handle and your
Yeah,
details.
my Twitter handle is my name, my first name and the last name. So I don't know if you can read that. It's Yusuf Bhaiji. So you can, so you can join me on Twitter, but more importantly on LinkedIn also, because sometime on LinkedIn I publish a lot of links or articles or some sort of information. So LinkedIn and Twitter both combined.
That's brilliant. So Yusuf, again, just want to say thanks so much for spending some time with me, and thanks for the offer to share more with the community. And everyone, please follow Yusuf on Twitter, connect with him on LinkedIn. And again, this is what I really love about Cisco, someone willing to share with all of us and help us all in our careers and change our lives. I want to wish you all the very best.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that interview. I hope you're enjoying these videos. I have tried to, rather than show you sales information or marketing information, give you real information. So I'm trying to talk to real people and get their opinions about the future and what's important. With that said, I once again want to wish you all the very best. If you don't mind subscribing to my YouTube channel, I'd appreciate it. That really helps me and helps open doors once again so that I can talk to people. They wouldn't be as willing to talk to me, I think, in some cases, if it wasn't for you being a subscriber and giving me questions to ask them. Again, all the very best.